doesn't bore me. If you've ever worried about your storytelling abilities, you're not alone. Speakers at all skill levels struggle to tell stories. Our next speaker, a district champion speaker and distinguished Toastmaster, has also been struggling over the years to tell effective stories. Recently, he discovered that the secret to telling stories is to develop story characteristics, which focus on the three basics. And now, to tell you about his storytelling secret, please join me in welcoming Tim Wilson.
If you were here last time I spoke, you know that the secret to a great story is your story character. And there are three basics to story character. And the first basic is something that a lot of speakers, most speakers, not a lot of speakers, tend to leave out or gloss over. The problem is because you leave this out, because you gloss over it, because you pass on to it, you don't develop and build your skills. Using just this one change, developing story characters, you can take any speaker and double their effectiveness in telling stories. But it's not using them. Have you ever heard a story where you just can't quite get it in your head? You don't know quite what you're saying? Yeah? Yeah, that happens. Sometimes it's doubtful. It happens. And have you ever told a story where you know the audience just wasn't quite getting it? Just didn't quite make that connection. Rhea, thank you. Honesty, very good. Rhea and I may be the only ones who have ever had this sort of problem. But it happens. There you are telling your story, and because that one basic is missing, the story just doesn't connect. And the basic thing to keep in mind is that story characters must be seen. Quick quiz. Story characters must be seen. Thank you. Great audience. Great audience. Story characters must be seen. What that means is you need to describe your story characters. Maybe you told stories like this. Me and my friend went into the place, and they talked to the other guy, and somebody came along, and then somebody came along later, and it was always like a little later in the day. And then we got together later, we went out to that place. You know the thing? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, exactly there. And he like, you know what I'm talking about. You probably have friends like that, tell stories like that. After a while, you're kind of like, what thing went where to which friend? How? Doesn't connect. Because it's not seen. If you're going to get anything in your head, it has to be seen. And all that means is you just have to throw in a few quick descriptive terms. In the story I gave